Well, my two are really boring and standard. I wouldn't
Ah,
compared to the left field. We've gone Batman to match Joker.
cool.
Absolutely love him. Again, for pretty much the same reasons. It's the whole origin of Batman, of him being, a guy who's lost his parents or lost his dad, and sort of, having gone through that traumatic event. And, on the outside, it looks like he's lives a life of privilege and should be okay, but sort of inside he isn't. And it's
Yeah.
that sort of that that sort of relatable story. But he create, again, similar to what I said about Joker. He creates a new him via Batman, and
Mm.
uses the wealth he has. He doesn't have any superpowers as such, but he creates Batman through his wealth, and so on. And well, in a way, he does create Batman through his wealth, but also it takes him back to um sort of the real world a little bit, in terms of being out on the streets and sort of mingling with the low life and so on. It keeps
Mm.
his finger on the pulse from that point of view as well.
But did
Yeah.
I know you're a big fan of Batman regardless, but the stuff that you're talking about there, see, I only relate that to the Christopher Nolan films, the whole kind of the flip side, the Bruce Wayne story, rather than it just being. I don't remember too many of the older versions of the Batman films where they dived or delved into that side of it as much.
No, they didn't really.
In the Tim Burton one, they do, and they sort of allude to the fact that it could have been Joker that killed his
His
parents,
yeah,
and because at the end it's the if you ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight is
Yeah.
the phrase that the person who killed his parents, and also Joker used it later on. Um, but yeah, I just think from that point of view, he's a very human character. Apart from the fact he's got all these toys and stuff.
yeah. Was your favourite version of him played by Del Boy?
Del Boy, without doubt. Yeah. I don't think I've got a favourite one. Again, it's similar to. I think a lot of them have worked. Some of them haven't worked. I mean, the Tim Nolan, um, Christopher Nolan, Tim Nolan. Why am I saying Tim Nolan? It's Tim Nolan.
That's the love child of Tim Burton and Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan, yes. Christopher Nolan, Batman was great. I think, yeah, there's no
Ben
particular.
Affleck.
Ben Affleck, I avoided like the plague, if I'm honest. Just because I didn't like the idea of it.
his
No
Batman
other
was-
reason than that. Just didn't like the
his
idea of
Batman
it being
wasn't
Batman.
too bad.
Yeah.
His Batman was all right. It's unfortunately, I mean, this is the trouble. You go from, Batman Begins, where you've got all that time to tell the story about Bruce Wayne,
Yeah.
and why he's troubled, why he makes these choices in the past, and that affect his present, and why he ends up as Batman, to Ben Affleck, literally versing Superman straight away. And it's very, very difficult to get particularly invested in these characters. And
Yeah.
I think one of the key sort of things for me that really really makes you want to get behind whatever character it may be is that they, that tragedy befalls them, be it of their own making or just through, sheer bad luck.
Yeah.
And, they get themselves back up and, try and be better for it, regardless of where life then takes them.
Yeah.
That for me is the thing that absolutely needs to happen for, and for the most part it does. Tony Stark in the first Iron Man film, thinks he's got the world at his feet until he gets blown up, and then he's in a cave for X amount of months, picking shrapnel out of his chest. And then you've got Thor, who, he's cast down from Asgard, and, he's all his powers taken away from him, has to learn humility. And Cap as well. Cap is literally the most humble guy you're ever going to meet. It's given the powers that he gets given because, Erskine believes that he'll know how to use them and when to use them, when not to use them. Otherwise, the sort of the flip side to that is the villains. They're the ones who don't learn those lessons.
Yeah. Well, that's another episode. Thank you very much, Adam, for joining us for the chat today.
Thank you for having me.
It's been an absolute pleasure. If you can let everyone know when they can find the Secret Protectors and show their support.
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, both. If you just type in the Secret Protectors, we have got a very low-key Indiegogo campaign we're going to launch sometime soon, because we've been getting a few messages following the Kickstarter from people saying, "Oh, you know, can I still get a copy, etc." So we thought we'd just do like a low-key Indiegogo thing afterwards, just as like a bit of a second chance thing, basically.
Fantastic. And
cool.
we'll certainly share that on our thing when you
definitely.
when you put that
Cheers,
out.
guys.
Yeah, and you can also
Awesome.
find us on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter at This Week in Metropolis. Go over there, give us a follow, and you'll be able to keep up to date with all of our latest episodes and posts in between. Until next week, we'll
Goodbye.
speak to you again then.